If you sit down here, sit down. What's wrong? Not really. All right. I'm going to check. Make my stay for time. Make my stay for time. If it, huh? All right, when you're ready, just get them changed for me. Okay then. And Melvin need to come to the front. Okay then. Those who
How you doing? Good. he's doing something today, isn't it? Yeah. He did say. Yeah, we'll catch up. Yeah.
just go. Okay then. You want to say something after? Save the food for after. Okay. All right. Cool. Just make sure that. Yeah. All right. Okay. So we can just circle down, please. Shh. That works every single time. Okay then, my brother, Tracy, if you can just please hold your seat, please. Need to come and sit down. Okay. Russ McCoy, everybody, can you please hold your seat, please? We're going to start back. Okay. Judy, there's a seat at the front for you. And youngest addition. Can you make way for the Queen, Judy? Young one's name? Ayana. Time. And his family is here. All right. Okay. Those gents, if you can just please hold your seats, please. Okay then. So what's going to take place right now? There'll be Q&A, and people can ask question. Coming no more in a minute. One on a second. Can those sisters, can I hold a seat, please? Because we want to start the meeting. Please. Brother, hold on. Brother, what's, Tim to come. Brother, can you come and hold a seat? Yeah. There's a seat here. You want to sit there, my sister? We want to start the meeting, yeah? Okay then. Now then, how do you find the first half? Good? Okay then. What's good about the first half? What do you like about the first half, Anne?
The openness, the opportunity for people to just open up and feel safe, in a safe environment and be honest. And best of all, to know that we can hear from the men how they feel. They're true. They can open up and be honest as well. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay, give Anna a clap for that. Yeah? What else? The first half. How do you find the first half? Anybody else? I'm going to pick somebody. You.
Yeah, I found it really useful and the information was brilliant, so thank you.
Useful and very good. Anybody else? Somebody hasn't said anything. I see my brother's looking at me like he really wants to say something. Oh, all right.
I found it really useful. I really liked the introduction from the doctor about looking at the self and the, sorry, what did you say? You spoke about the influence that parents had on young people. I thought that was brilliant. I was a little bit concerned, though, about one of the comments in the audience about the fact that, what did she say? She said that her parents or something or somebody was abusive, and that never did her any you know, it didn't hurt, you know, it didn't. Yeah, she kicked her down the stairs, and you know, it made her the person that she was today. Yes, I respect your views, but I kind of think that kind of took us back a little bit, you know, because I think we really need to start looking at other ways of communicating with our children. So I thought that was a little bit of a barrier to, you know, our discussion.
Okay, fantastic. Give the sister a clap, yeah? Absolutely. I see this man, I look by me. If I don't give him the mind, good for do me something, you know?
You're such a troublemaker, you know? No, I mean, the thing is, you know, this whole event is interesting. And, you know, congratulations for putting it on. Congratulations for getting all the stall holders. It's a really important topic. I'm also part of a men's health group focusing on mental health in South London that I attend. It's all men, and we're working towards a drama project. So it was important for me to come here today and just to be part of this whole event. And I kind of echo what the lady said about the woman that was talking about being kicked down the stairs. That's very negative and that's dangerous. And what we don't want to do is promote that. We want to promote positivity. We want to promote a healthy lifestyle and a healthy way of bringing up our children and being in our community, and not promoting what is negative and what is bad, because we get enough of that on the outside anyway. So we as a community have to come together and try to instill and empower each other, particularly the next generation, into knowing better and doing better.
Okay, good about that clap. I see Lisa wants to ask her. This will be the final one. Talk about the first half.
Hello, everyone. So my question would be to Kento.
Just talk about where you find the first half. Don't put up a question right now.
Oh, right, okay, sorry. I'll wait. Yeah.
Okay then. At this point here, it's opportunity for people to ask questions to the panel. This is where Russ Minty will be the moderator. So, Minty will come to the front. Please give Russ Minty a clap. See? Yeah. So Minty will be taking full control of the second half now. All right.
Okay, greeting. Thank you. Everybody give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah. Thank you for coming. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to come here. You could have been at home watching the omnibus of EastEnders, but you chose to come here. Well done. Okay. Is that okay? Thank you for coming. We've got an esteemed panel here today. And I'm going to let the individuals introduce themselves. We'll start from your right to left. Brother Kenzu.
Yes, as you know, my name is Brother Kenzu. And I like to really, I would see myself as just Mr. Holistic. Yeah? Meaning, in addressing any issue in life, we consider all aspects of life.
Just to simplify who I am, my name is Lyndon Wissart, author of the book The Inspired Diabetic. There's 400 million people in the world with diabetes. There's 1 million undiagnosed in the UK and 4 million people in the UK with diabetes. I was diagnosed in October 2015 with type 2 diabetes. They offered me medication. I declined medication from advice from a cousin because he said medication gives you side effects, okay? They gave me 3 weeks to reverse my type 2 diabetes. My HbA1c is a level that they measured for the last 3 months. Mine was 92. It's supposed to be 42 and below. My blood glucose, when they do a pinprick, was 15.9. It's supposed to be 5. So they offered me medication, and they gave me 3 weeks to reduce it. Within 3 weeks, they said, give another blood test. Within 105 days, I reversed my type 2 diabetes without any medication. I've done it naturally, yeah? And just to simplify it for you, everybody asks me, how did I do it and what did I do? There's only 4 simple things that I've done. Number 1, like we're talking about today, is the mindset. Okay, how did I get into the situation in the beginning and how do I reverse it? Number 2 is my diet, yeah? What was I eating? I had to take out what I was eating before and replace it with other things that I knew would help me. The 3rd thing was physical activity, yeah? I was big and getting bigger. But the day when my mother said, Linda, your belly get big, I knew I had to do something, yeah? And the 4th thing was intermittent fasting. Okay, I was fasting up to 4 to 5 times a week, no problems. Every month, I was taking a 24-hour to 27-hour fast, just water, because I was going to have a blood test, and I need to bring my sugars down. Okay, so that's me, okay? I'm not saying you have to do what I done, but I've written a book about it just to show you what I done as an example, as a template. Thank you.
So you heard from me earlier on. My name is Mervyn Barrett. I'm a peak performance coach. I help individuals to perform at their peak level in whatever industry there is. I do it through a series of personal, what I call self-discovery, the art of self-discovery, and I have these personal development tools which you all know about, but I've gone into great detail with them. The first one is thinking, knowing how you think. We're thinking patterns. Without realizing that, you will be lost. The second is the brain and how the brain works. And I sort of alluded to some of that earlier on. The brain is about survival. It works in protection or growth. You can't work in both. It's one or the other. The third is the mind-body connection. When you have inner alignment, when your mind and your body are aligned, you take your most precise action. And then the 4th is personality construction. Most of us have no clue that we aren't who we think we are. We're a composite of people in our lives. Parents, first of all, you know, mum and dad, and then maybe your pastor or your teacher that you had, or maybe you're big on a movie star, whatever it is. But those things encroach on who you think you are. And I'll show you how to deconstruct, not destroy, but deconstruct your personality and then reconstruct it in a way that is most helpful for you. And that's me. Thanks.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have a question and answer. It's like an open session, so you can ask these 3 esteemed gentlemen any question. Is there anybody who has a question? Anybody else? So if there's no questions, gentlemen, feel free to, you know, push out whatever message you want to push. Yes, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's my time now. So it primarily is for the gentleman on the outsides. Actually, yeah, it is, but primarily for Kentu. So I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you, all of you. I enjoyed the presentation. Thank you. And I am a great believer in many of the things that you said. For me, I'm a great believer on trauma. So our body suffers trauma some point in our life. It could be emotional, physical, medically, or anything like that. But our bodies don't recognize trauma's trauma. So if I broke my foot, my body's in trauma. If I have an emotional breakdown, my body's in trauma. My body doesn't know the difference. So I do have a great belief in the childhood thing, where our bodies are in trauma often from our childhoods. And like the sister said, your mum was in trauma from your mum's childhood. And I unfortunately have to put my hand up. I have 2 children with disabilities. My 20-year-old, he's traumatised from the licks I gave him when he was young, and I didn't even give the boy licks. I used to walk around with the belt round my neck because he was a scaredy cat. His younger brother now is a bad man. So he was a scaredy cat, but he's traumatized at that. He actually resents me for that. And there is a lot of healing that needs to go on. Now, what we don't understand is trauma then comes out in your body in many ways. Sometimes it's emotional. We're talking about mental health. It can be mental health. It can be sickness. It can be fibromyalgia. Has anybody ever heard of that? Many people have got fibromyalgia. The doctors will do every kind of test on you. I'm sorry, you don't have nothing. Everything comes back positive. But this is a result of trauma somewhere in our life. So what we need to do is all the things that everybody suggested. And what I'd like you all to do today is share with us what you think we practically need to do. Because as an individual, there's 3 therapists here in the room, and I by myself as well am a qualified person-centered counsellor. But it's okay for us to have that, but we're individuals and we know what we can do for us and us, or we can advise people. But as a body of people, financially, emotionally, practically, what do you suggest we do on a daily basis to actually encounter this? Because this is a big feat, a massive feat, because people with cancers are in the world, and cancers are caused by trauma. Whether it be emotional, physical, we've all got some genes in us and something triggers it. We've got diabetes. Diabetes, as Lyndon says, diabetes is caused by trauma. There's a lot of things in our bodies that we don't really understand. And ideally, we need to find the pathway for it. So could you share that, please?
Hold on. Do you want to just reiterate the question? Because you said a lot. Do you want to reiterate the question that you asked? Just quickly.
All right. Can you give us practical suggestions on how the layman would deal with these? Because we'll go away today with information, not necessarily me, but, you know, everybody. Where do we start? What do you want us to do? What do you want us to look at? Because you said a lot, but what do you want us to practically do?
Okay, I get you.
Good question.
All right, the point you made, I just want to touch on because it's important for everybody to understand how trauma, because you're saying some things there, how trauma relates to diabetes, for example, cancer, and these other NCDs. Now, we have to understand there's no line in between the spirit, the emotion, the body, or the mind. There's no demarcation, none whatsoever. But because we use these terms, the mind sometimes tricks you that there is a line in between, but they're all interwoven. Now, if you take one cell, we have trillions of cells in our body. If you take one cell and you look in one cell, you're going to see spirit, mind, emotion, and body in every one of your trillions of cells. So now, if the mind is stressed, we went through the childhood stress, or even the child is expecting by nature things to take place, such as the infancy stage, first 2 years infancy stage. The child has certain specific needs which are narcissistic in nature. Look at me, tell me you love me, and that's it for the 2 years. Just dot on me for 2 years. Going on to two upwards, around 2, what they call in terrible 2s, this is where the key is. Because terrible 2s, to me, is terror in the parental shoes. Why do we say that? Because the child is now standing up for his autonomy, self-rulership. He's basically, you know, reached to a stage where he's been nurtured in the first 2 years, and he's like, yeah, well, you know, no, I don't want to do that. Why? And they're stamping their ground. That's all they're doing, standing, but they want you there. It's called oppositional bonding. So they want to be their own, they want self-autonomy, but they want their parents. So they'll look around and make sure the parent is following them into the other room. But they're going in the other room. You see? But they want the parents there. So that bonding, but we don't understand that. We're like, oh, you mean? Oh, you're so rude. I said so. Do this, do that. Don't, you know? And we reprimand them and stress them and so forth. Now, what we're actually doing there is crushing the willpower. We're crushing the child's willpower. From there, it's just a downhill scale. You see? It's downhill. Because at 2, 3 years old and on to 6, 7 years old, that's all they're getting. And that's the formation, the crystallization of this spirit. So Now, those thought forms in that one cell, the congestion of those thought forms obviously affects the oxygen and the brain, the mind, all the other aspects in that one cell, yes? Has to. So there you have right there the offset now for these diseases. Cancer, suffocation. Cancer is suffocation. That's what cancer is, suffocation. So on a cellular level as well, 60% of the oxygen is depleted from the cells. Cancer, that can take place through the congestion. It's all about stagnation and congestion. And we have emotional constipation going on because of these stresses. Inadequate parenting. So I'm saying we just need to look at something that we haven't looked at, we overlooked, and we're running along down the road to doing to deal with knife crime and deal with rage and deal with all these things that are rising, which are terrible and need to be looked at. But I think we need to go ahead with this missing component. But it's difficult when a parent has unresolved pain. That's my phone, yeah. It's an alarm, by the way. It's not the phone. Unresolved pain. Oh, gosh, I'm going to leave that right. So when a parent has unresolved pain, they can't deal with a child's pain. They can't open up to them emotionally. I know I was doing it myself because, through my children's coming up, I'm there trying to deal with the stress. Remember, I've been through all of the youth custodies and I've done HMP tours when I was young. You understand? So all of that, the drugs and all of that, I've been there. So I'm trying to deal with all of my own stress and not understanding that I'm depriving the child of their attention. So not to go on and on. The infancy stage, preschool stage and school age, and you've got different stages. Different nurturing is required. But the key thing is, you ask what you should do on a day-to-day, the first thing for all of us is honesty. Honesty. Which gonna breed transparency. That's important. But the awareness, because this is the awareness is like the soil of the ground. Awareness just grows. Children don't need nothing. No education to grow. Leave the child, leave him down by the river, leave him by the beach, walk him in the forest, left him and see if he don't come up with some high-level intelligence for you in 5 years' time. Dr. Sabi is an example. I can give you many other, but Dr. Sabi, people used to say, how come this Fred is just down by the river? What's going to happen to Fred when he gets older? He's not going to school. He's just down by the river every day. He turned out to be the #1 herbalist on the planet. Having access to certain plants. And I can point to other people that way.
In a way.
Get to the answer.
Yeah.
Get to the
I know you've
right.
touched on it.
So I've touched on that.
Yeah.
But other things you can do. Awareness is the key. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's my duty right now, is to pump this awareness. So, and then let the brain grow. Unguided. Just let it grow. Let nature be the guide. You see what I'm saying? Transparency. Speak to the children. Be honest to your children. All right. The word human. Do anybody know what the word human means? You see that?
Color.
You see that? Does anybody know what the word human means? The word human, you find in there infallible. You'll find vulnerable. You'll find weakness. You'll find imperfect. So why are we trying to be perfect? Why are we trying to be perfect? But that's not human. By trying to be perfect, you're actually going into insanity. Why are we trying to be perfect? So I'm saying, let's be human. Let's be vulnerable. Let's open up. Those are the first stages, and deal with people on that. And then there's so much I could talk about inner child work and all of that stuff.
Okay, thank you. Give him a round of applause, please, man. Thank you. But just to say, we've only got half an hour for this, so we have to keep our answers succinct. Thank you, panel.
From my personal experience, I'm only talking about my personal experience of growing up. I was born in Hackney and I grew up in Tottenham. And so my life has been difficult at times, yeah? But one thing I didn't want to do, it's just me speaking. Oh, sorry. It's just, I didn't want to portray that to my children. And the fact that I got 4 children, and when I was younger, I had 3 children under the age of 5, living in the same household. I just think how much pressure that was on a young couple. And as I got older, I worked hard to achieve a lot of things in my life. But one of the things I always said to myself, I always want to be there for my children. I always love them, yeah? My oldest one is 30, I got twins are 29, and I got a 15-year-old now, okay? And like Lisa was saying, on a day-to-day basis, how many of you got more than 3 children or 4 children? Yeah? And they're on WhatsApp, yeah? Anyone got their children on WhatsApp? Yeah? We've got a WhatsApp group as well. Yeah, okay. But do you know the message I send to my children? Because nowadays, you thought when your children get older, you'd be able to see them every day. It ain't like that. I thought I'd be seeing my son every week, talking to him every day on the phone, you know? And I'm phoning my son, I'm phoning my daughters. You guys don't want to talk to me no more? You know? So what I decided to do is set up a WhatsApp group for my kids, yeah? I send them messages on a regular basis. Thinking of you, love you. Thinking of you, love you. My son's 29. He's a big boy. He's bigger than me. Every single time I see my son, yeah, he kisses me on the cheek like a girl. Yeah, like a girl. And you know something? No, on the cheek, not on the lips. Like a young girl, whatever. But you know something? I don't care what you say about how my son kisses me. My son's got affection for me. You know why? Because we showed it to him. We showed him respect. Okay? My youngest daughter now, yeah, on my journey, yeah, of writing my book, yeah, I would have been targeted as a mental health situation, yeah, because I was focused on reversing my diabetes, yeah. I'm not going to go into my story now, okay, but when I was doing my diabetes, reversing it, I was in my own zone. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I was just getting on with it. When I was going to the doctor to find out I was diabetic, I didn't tell my wife where I was going. Like Critter says today in this joke, I ain't telling my wife nothing. I ain't telling my wife nothing. I went through some stuff going through diabetes with all the symptoms. I ain't tell my wife nothing. Yeah, I ain't say nothing to nobody. Yeah, but it came to the time when I needed help. And when I found out I needed help, I opened up to some people. And you know the thing about it? It was positive help, not negative. So they say surround yourself with positive people, okay? On my short journey that I've had with my book, doing events with Brother Dougie, my 15-year-old daughter, she comes on many events with me, okay? A 15-year-old girl now, yeah, okay, want to be with her friends, go the drinking and the smoking and the burgers and all the pizzas and all that kind of thing. But you know something? She is like that, okay? But you know something? On the journey, she's changed. You know why? She's come to events to meet people, yeah, who's talking about nutrition, healthy living. I changed my diet. I changed the way I started to live. And she noticed it. And when she goes to the events, she goes, Dad, listen, I'm going to detox now. 15-year-old girl talks, Dad, I'm not having no fizzy drinks, nothing this week. I'm just having water. In the fridge at home, every day, she's got a bottle of lemon water. Why? Because she see me drinking lemon water. Yeah, she detoxes. Dad, I'm not drinking, having no sweets this week, no chocolates. Dad, this is my bottle. So, you know, I'm saying to you, sometimes we have to lead by example. We have to lead by example. Set the foundation. Set the foundation. Let me tell you something about diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, which I know of, yeah? Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle, yeah? You can reverse it, you can cure it, you can heal yourself of type 2 diabetes because it's what you put in your mouth. It's just like what we spit out, it's what we could put in as well, yeah? But what I'm saying to people, you get yourself to where you need to be. For example, I was 92, my HbA1c, I need to get it down to 42 and below. I had to have a target to hit. You have to have focused on a target. If you've got a dartboard with no numbers on it, and somebody say, phone out, you've got nothing to aim for. Yeah? But I had numbers I had to work towards. It's the same thing in life. Whatever you want to do, you need to work towards it. There's different issues of mental health. Yeah, there's different, everybody's going through certain things. But the only thing that I always say to a lot of people, yeah, we all go through different things. Money, relationships, whatever causes us, accidents, whatever. And then somebody says to you, my friend, you got mental health issues. We think it's a negative, you know? I want somebody to say to me, man, you got mental health issue, but it's positive. Yeah, it's a positive mental health issue you got, man. And you can do something about it. Yeah? There's something you can do because there's people out there want you to do it. You know, you're not alone. You're not by yourself. And when I found out that I had type 2 diabetes, and then when I found out there's 400 million more like me around there, yeah, I thought to myself, I'm not the only one. But you know something? I can do something about it, and I can start with myself.
Okay, thanks. Lyndon, in a word, what's the word you're using?
Sorry?
The sister asked, what practical terms can we use to find ourselves, essentially?
You got to self-affirmations. I can do it. I will do it. I will cure my diabetes. I'll reverse my diabetes. This is not a lifetime sentence. This is for me personally. Okay? So on a day-to-day basis, my situation, I was in that. On a day-to-day basis, tell your children you love them. Send them that message that you love them with a smiling face and let them know that you're there for them. Okay? For a long time, I didn't see my son, yeah, because he's busy doing what he's doing. If I tell you who my son is, you probably know who he is. But he's doing what he's doing, living his life. But I'm proud of what he's doing. So I don't get upset no more. Some people say, you haven't seen your son for a month, or yes, but you know something, I don't get upset because I understand him. And I can remember back when I was his age, or even younger, I'm from Tottenham, yeah, okay? I used to go to London, work in London. I used to go for a weekend. Back then, we didn't even have a telephone at home, yeah? And I wouldn't come home for the weekend. I see my mum on Monday, she's bawling her head out. Where you been for the weekend? Yeah? Where you been for the weekend? Because I would go away for the weekend. Yeah, but now you got telephone. So I'm just saying to you, no matter what situation you have with your children, don't let other people influence you to be negative with them. Yeah? No matter what your child has done. I don't care what it is. No matter what. Don't let anybody influence you, because some people are just jealous. Some people wish they would where you are, but they're not. Some people wish they would have the encouragement, the strength, the energy to tell their children what really needs to happen. You know, my youngest daughter, I said, listen, I've got no problems with the first three. Yeah, don't you start. Do you understand me? But show them love. I was in bed this morning, my 15-year-old daughter came up to me, Dad, and hugged me. Love you, Dad. Yeah? Nobody knows how precious that is. And I pressurize that every single day.
That's right. Show love. Thank you for that, Melvin.
Okay, just to say, my son, I've got two. One's 35 and the other one is 21. And I kiss them. I kiss them on the cheek. You know, we regularly greet each other, hug and kiss. And so the grandbabies and the younger ones, they look up and they do the same thing. Yeah, we just show each other love. So yeah. But just a few things, some tools and tips that you can use so you can practically impact not just yourself, but your world. Because whether you recognize it or not, or realize it or not, you are your world. And your world impacts the world. Oftentimes we spend so much time worrying about the world and how it's impacting us that we don't actually get to impact ourselves. So the first thing is speak your truth. Now, I wanted to say this earlier on. I'm going to say it now. Just be careful of how you speak your truth. Oftentimes when we speak the truth about a situation, we do it in condemnation. It's like we're attacking ourselves. We're so judgmental. And I invite, when I'm working with anybody, I invite them to speak their truth from a place of being non-judgmental. So when you're being judgmental, it's like an attack. When you're being non-judgmental, I view that as like you're tackling the situation. So if you're like on a football pitch and you want to get the ball, you could theoretically go over to the opponent, kick them to the floor, and grab the ball. Now, the team would be up in arms. Probably even your team is saying, what are you doing? Because you didn't play fair. You didn't do it by the rules. You just attacked. And we do that in our mind. But you can also be on that pitch, and you can have a really crunching tackle. And as long as it's fair, as long as you're doing it by the rules, it's fine. So I invite you, with your mind, first of all, to tackle yourself. Don't attack yourself. You're not a bad person because you, quote unquote, did something bad. That's not going to help you. You won't feel better. If you don't feel better, you can't do better. So the first port of call is to really, this idea of being non-judgmental about how you view your situation that you're in. The second thing is awareness. Awareness is a superpower. Brother Kenzu mentioned it earlier on, and not just awareness, but self-awareness. I kind of look at it like if you were sleeping and I walked into your room and I had a pot of paint and I painted your face. If you were sleeping, would you be able to stop me if you were sleeping if I painted your face? You wouldn't. You're sleeping. You wouldn't know. Now, if you were awake and I walked up to you with a pot of paint and I went to paint your face, well, now it's a different story, right? Because you're awake. You actually now have a choice. You can say, yes, paint my face, or no, don't paint my face. So awareness is like a superpower. And oftentimes, I'm not talking about when you've been knocked unconscious. I'm talking about oftentimes we are not aware. We're asleep. And I invite you to just become aware. And become aware of what? Become aware of how you're thinking. Become aware of how you're feeling. Start taking notes. Non-judgmentally. So if you're feeling bad, don't say, oh, this is terrible, I'm feeling bad. Just notice, oh, I'm feeling bad. And start to look possibility, right? Not problem. Where's this feeling coming from? What do I need to do to change it? What can I do to help myself? And you'll start to see things begin to change. The third thing is get help. Get help. Stop living in your head. When you live in your head, your brain, look, you've got about 1 million years worth of brain cells in your head. Right? You can do anything up here. You can make any connections. So when somebody says to me, oh, I can't, I could never play the piano. Yes, you can. You've got brain cells up there that will allow you to play the piano. I could never learn a different language. Yes, you could. It's all possible. But the issue with that is that when you're not using the brain, when you're not aware of it, when you're attacking yourself, you don't get an opportunity to really develop what's going on there. So get help. One, get some reading. Read as much as you can around the subject of, if it's mental health or self-awareness or diabetes, read around the subject. And then go get a coach. I'm a coach, so I would say that. Go get a therapist. I'll tell you, I've been married for nearly 20 years now, and there was a point, and there has been several points, where me and the missus, my second marriage, by the way, me and the missus, we were going to break up. So I said, let's get some help. Let's go and get somebody who doesn't know us, who can talk to us. We went and got help. You know, we still, to this day, regularly go and get relationship therapy. You've got to. You've got to be able to look after yourself. And then practice. Practice, practice, practice. So when you learn something, put it into practice. And all of this, by the way, as I'm saying this, you lead by example, which is, the fourth thing really is to take action. All the time, take action. Take action even if you're going in the wrong direction, even if it doesn't make sense, even if you think, no, it's not working. Take action. The worst thing you can do is stay inactive. Do nothing. You'll definitely get more of the same. If you take action and you're going in the wrong direction, be non-judgmental and say, oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. What people say is, I'm going in the wrong direction, I'm an idiot. You could say, oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. You're coming from awareness. So what do you do now? When you're an idiot, you beat yourself up. When you're aware, you just say, oh, turn around, go the other way. It's not an issue. We all make mistakes. And I'm saying these things here, and if you want to impact the world, lead by example. So all that I've said to you, you have it in your mind that you're actually getting ready to teach somebody else how to do it. By example, not just with your words, by example. It's so important.
Thank you, Melvin. Thank you very much. We've got a question. We've got 10 minutes left. If there's anybody who wants to ask a question, put your hand up now so we can see you. You can see there's 3 questions left in 10 minutes. Actually, there's a gentleman here who wants to ask. So we've got, and that's it. Nobody else after that. And we've got 10 minutes. So panel members, I beg you, keep your answers succinct as possible. So we're going to go to you first, and then you at the front, yeah.
Good evening. My question to Lyndon and Dr. Kenzo, what inspired you to write your books?
Sorry, before you start, just because we've got 10 minutes left, can you be succinct? Thank you.
Oh. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a question, but just a quick comment in any case, yeah.
No, hold on. I gave you the mic just to hold. He's got to answer the question, so hold on.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I wrote my book by default. I wasn't supposed to write my book. Okay, when I do talks, I talk about how I was supposed to write the book, but I was so close not to writing a book because I went on a journey where my cousin had type 1 diabetes. He told me how he got type 1 diabetes through stress. I told him, you need to write a story, a book, a video to share what you went through so people could hear about it. So I spoke to a friend who's written a book, told him about my cousin. We went to an event, where I saw people talking about how to put a book together. And on that day, my HbA1c went down from 92 down to 60, And when I met my cousin on that day, he said, Lyndon, that's really good what you've done. So I told my friend about it, and after that event, I met some people who's written books, and I couldn't understand why they've written books. What's so important about books, That's the mentality I had. But I thought to myself, my cousin said something, I'd done something really good. Maybe I should write a book, or maybe I got a book. So I told my friend, he said, Lyndon, write down everything that you've done. Sorry. He said, write down everything that you've done. And when I read through all the scriptures that I'd written, I couldn't believe what I'd gone through. And he said to me, we both sat down and we were just like crying because I was reading to him, He said, Lyndon, you got a book. And if he said no, I would never have written it. He said yes. So from that day, I started to write every single thing that I'd done, And then he said, Lyndon, let's get it to a professional who can help you more with the book. We got another professional, and within 6 months, the book was done, finished.
I did mention earlier on, really my book was just really propelled from the clients, the mindset of the clients that I was seeing in Jamaica, and the fact that they didn't understand what real food really meant to their life. And that made me think, and the root cause to that has to be some great an alignment with nature, which I regard as a spiritual alignment. So awareness, again, is the key. Awareness. Ethnomedicine was, actually, when I started writing it was based on ethnomedicine because I realized that black people need to understand, first of all, that we're at the highest incident rate of most NCD, non-communicable diseases. Diabetes, kidney, I could go, it's in the book, it's in the beginning of the book, it's all there. So I thought people need to understand it. And then you have ethnomedicine means medicine for different races. And most of us are not aware of this. We're not aware of our differences. We're not aware that we're contracting these diseases because of our differences and our history. So that was the main propels for me.
Excuse me, sir. The one on the right, in the white. Sorry. That's correct, yes.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. How did you really feel when you actually turned the tables around in terms of beating type 2 diabetes? I mean, what impact in your life did it really have there, may I ask?
When I was diagnosed, I didn't even know what diabetes was. I didn't know what it was. The only thing that I know is that when I started to turn it around, the only question that I asked is, how did I get into this situation? And they told me it was through blood glucose, too much sugars in my system. And I asked them, how did I get that? Through carbohydrates, pasta, rice, potatoes, all the fizzy drinks. My number one drink was mango juice and ginger beer. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it didn't matter. I would still have a juice, So when they told me that, I don't recommend anyone to do this, but this is what I done. From that day, I stopped eating pasta, rice, potatoes. I didn't have no more ginger beer, no more fizzy drinks. The following day, fizzy drinks, everything was out of my life. Out of my life. It was that simple. the only thing I'm saying to you, my reason why I'm self-employed, I'm a self-employed chef, yeah, self-employed chef. If you're a self-employed chef, your work goes up, your work goes down, yeah. If I don't earn, 4 kids, if I don't earn, yeah, they're not happy, yeah. Ladies, if your husband's not bringing the bread home, you're not happy. Do you understand me, yeah? So I had certain things that I had to set myself for, yeah. If I become diabetic continuously, if you know all the symptoms, yeah, 22 seconds, everybody's losing the lower limb, yeah, every 6 seconds, somebody's dying from diabetes. I didn't want to be in that category. I wanted to stay healthy. I wasn't healthy before. So that's what made me change around. What are the consequences of you being type 2 diabetic? Yeah? What are the consequences long term? That's why I changed overnight. And even now, since then, I don't drink no fizzy drinks anymore. Yeah, I don't just do that. It's amazing how your palate changes. I can drink tea with no sugar now. I can't believe it. But I believe it because I do it. Because you know something? Every day I'm still testing myself. Like, what can I do? What can I can't do? Don't forget, for the last, I'm not going to tell you my age, yeah? For the last how many years I've been living, we've been consuming all the sugars, all the salts, and the rest of it. So to change it overnight, don't get me wrong, yeah? It was tough, but it was a decision. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for your talks. I'm type 1 diabetic, and I can swear that low carb does work.
Yeah.
My sugars are much better now. Thanks. I guess I'm training as a mental health professional, and I'm hearing a lot of what you're saying. And I heard a lot of responsibility being put on the family. And what I'm realizing as a mental health professional is that a lot of it is about looking in at your family situation. And it kind of chimed a bit with the position of like politicians on knife crime, like it's all down to the family. I'm not saying you're saying that, it reminded me of it. The ACE studies are very real, trauma, love, of course. But what I'm saying is, where do you see the place of looking out? Because what I'm realizing is that the more appropriate place for mental health professionals is to stand in solidarity with people in distress, looking out into the social world to probe the world for causes of their distress, i.e. you're not inherently flawed or disordered, how you are is an appropriate reaction to what's happened to you. And that's about cultivating outside. And I just think, you know, with the family stuff, you know, when you got angry about the amino pills, you were rushing. Why did you have to rush? Probably because you had to go and make money. The pencil case as well, you were rushing. Do you know what I mean? And this guy who came back and he was a waste man because he quit his job. He quit his job probably because he was getting shit pay and getting made to feel like shit. So I feel like it's the things that are furthest away from us that have the biggest impact on our lives. And I just wanted to know where the theory of outside works with the way you guys are thinking.
When you say outside, sorry?
Outside. And also, Melvin, you've touched on this, so I'd like you to touch on that as well.
I'm not sure if I'm understanding when you're saying outside. Was it? Okay, I got you now. Now, first of all, the reason I was rushing is because as a traumatized child, I exist in a state of hyper-vigilance. Like a lot of people. Meaning, you step on their toe, you say, oh, wow, box it on, a boy. That's how we are. Because we exist in a state of hypervigilance. Meaning, cortisol and adrenaline, those two hormones, stress hormones, which they treat most diseases with, by the way. And why do they treat most diseases with stress hormones? Because most diseases are stress-related. But they're not telling you this. Cortisol and adrenaline are begun firing off in my brain as my environment. That's epigenetics now. Epigenetics means your environment is controlling the genes. So me as a being in my environment was affected by the environment, closed it in. Because I froze. We spoke about it earlier. Couldn't fight, couldn't fly. So now, within me, I still got cortisol and adrenaline running. Stress. What's going on inside? Hypervigilance. Up until this day. Parents have died, left home, parents have died, blah, 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 blah. I'm not in the environment no more. But inside, it's still hypervigilance. It's out there. It's rife. What I'm telling you here. It's rife. This is ACE. This is what it leads to, adverse childhood experience. Because in order for it to cause diseases later on, that means something must be still going on inside of you. So it's called toxic stress. The stress is toxic now because it's going on for years. The problem's not there. You have implicit memories. I'll show you an example. I could be, I could be. I'm going to tell you about a real, I'm sitting down writing a book. This is November, December gone. I'm writing and the room's very quiet. I'm in a meditative state and I'm, thoughts are flowing. And I heard a door click in another room, like it's opening. And immediately I thought, which parent is this coming? And what have I got to hide? My mum and dad had died 10, 20 years ago. I've left home over 30 years ago. But why is that thought? You see that? Implicit memory, ingrained because of how I responded to the beating them and the cussing and the criticism and the degrading from my parents. That's what I used to get. Do you see what I'm saying? So it ingrained. And now 30 years on, I'm hearing a door click. I'm like, and for a split second, it's only for a split second, it wasn't ongoing, but I've also experienced emotional flashbacks. So I'm trying to just tell you these things. I'm not grudgeful or hateful or anything about it. I understand them and I'm cool about everything, but I'm just expressing so you guys can understand that it's quite a deep situation. So when you say about looking out, I've never, Dougie can tell you, from the time I started talking about holistic health food, I've never put the responsibility outside. Whether it's to the pharmaceutical companies or the food companies or the doctors, never. Because we walk in there. I always put the responsibility back on us. Hence the title, Spiritosis. It's us. It's back to us. The problem is here. The power, I could go on all day about the power of us. Mervyn is touching on some of that. Our power and who we really are. And that's the point. We don't know who we really are because we're stressed. Most of your actions that you're making in your life, you're making them based on that same hypervigilance condition internally. So you're choosing and you're making choices based on a state like you're fighting someone still, or escapism. That's what, for me, I've gone through my life escaping this, escaping that. I see a situation where it's not, oops, gone, just gone, straight away. Don't question it. Internally, there's an escapism going on. Do you see what I'm saying? Hypervigilance. You fight easy, you temper. It's an ongoing thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, Kenzo. Give it, Melvin, can you?
Hold on. It doesn't make sense. I've got to.
No, hold on.
He said it don't make sense.
We can't go back and forth, man. That was, he asked the question and we got the answer. We can't go back and forth. Give it to Melvin. And can you touch on this, please, Melvin? Because it could go back and forth and we can't do that. Yeah. Go on, Melvin.
Yes, that's a really interesting point that you make and a valid point too. I think when we are looking inwardly, we have to, as I sort of shared that at the beginning, the first thing I said was just be wary of how you're looking at yourself and your situation. Because if you're looking in condemnation, you will go down. So it has to come, when you're being truthful, when you're speaking your truth, it's got to come out of being non-judgmental. One of the issues with, and it depends what you mean by looking outward for that person, because oftentimes, if we look outward at what the media are portraying, for example, a lot of that media hype is not designed for human consumption, to be fair. It's designed to have us desensitize ourselves. So if we're looking for a group approach, it is tricky. But if we're looking for a group approach to it, then we have to be aware of where we are in that group. No, that's not, no. If we're looking for a group approach, we just have to be mindful of when we're looking out and labeling the causes as being external. And then when we're looking inwardly at ourselves, but it's not to blame the family. Not for 1 minute am I saying the family are wrong. And sometimes when we hear the word responsibility, we link it to blame. And that's not what I talk about. I do talk about owning what has happened. So where you're saying you stand with the person from their side and look at what they're looking at, well, I look at that with them non-judgmentally, as opposed to being judgmental of that situation. It's very tricky. But again, you're just looking at one example being the crazed terrorist in New Zealand. And, you know, they had him in the front page of the Mirror as an angel, a picture of a blonde-haired, you know, little youth with these blue eyes. And he was how an angel grew into a terrorist. And then somebody put up a picture of the guy who shot 50 people in America, and it had crazed Muslim madman. So the image that they have of one is of being an angel who somehow was manipulated into being that way. And then this other guy he must have just been born like that. And even, you know, young Shamima Begum, the girl who went off to go fight for, you know, no one said she was a child, but she was 15. She didn't really know what she was doing. But they have this, it looks like, and I have to be careful, but it looks like, because I want to be non-judgmental about it, because it doesn't help me to be judgmental, but it looks like the press was saying, this guy is an angel because he's white, but she couldn't be an angel because she's a Muslim. Say again? Yes. But and then, even though I'm looking at it as a judgment, I want to be, we have to be careful. If I could just share one thing, you have to be careful about how you look at yourself and people. When you're being judgmental, and let's say you're angry, well, you are creating anger in yourself first before you give it to somebody else. Anyway, I've got to be respectful of time.
Yeah, sorry, I know there's people. No, hold on. I know, it's just you're not listening. Come on, please, because we've got to be respectful. There's people who've had their hands up. I did say, put your hand up. We've got to be respectful. Sorry. You've got this question. They're going to be the last questions. Sorry.
Hi. What do you think about the pollution levels in London? Because I feel like I can't even breathe.
How is that going to be related to mental health? It's a mental health, and yeah.
Is it true or not?
Yeah.
Is it true or not, the pollution in London? You know, because the only reason I'm going to answer that question, a few years ago, I bought a brand new car. Yeah, okay. Because the emissions. Yeah, they told me you buy a brand new car, low emissions. I pay £40 a year for my car tax. That's how low my emissions is. We've got an Audi and we've got a Golf. We pay £20 a year for the Golf for emissions. Yeah, and now they're telling us we're driving to Islington. They're charging us £12 to drive the same car. This years ago. So I'm in a lose-lose situation now. So what is the level of pollution in London? I've been driving around London with a low emissions car. Yeah, it's still going to be low emissions. Yeah, okay, I'm doing my bit, but now they're penalising me. Yeah, penalising me for what? Work it out.
Of course, man, of course. Okay, we've got one more question. Sorry. Well, we'll see. I'll think quickly. Things go.
Hello. Sorry, I missed the first one. It's no longer I came. I just want to find out about mental health. I don't know if you already talked about it before. Is somebody already on really heavy medication, like my son is on clozapine, and he missed it just for 2 days. He was himself. After 3 days, it was worse. So I want to find out, have anyone ever come out of heavy medication like that? And again, I want to point out one thing. He got into mental health through religion. A lot of people there in a hospital is through reading too much Bible or Quran. So it's not about family, it's not about, anyway. Please help.
Just ask you, what's your son taking cortisol for? Cortisol, sorry. Psych. Okay. So,
Right.
Anyone, go on.
Okay, I mean, you see, the drugs, it's a difficult situation, definitely. I'm not going to sit down and say I've got the answer to that problem there. Yeah, and that's the straight, because, you know, we'd have to know a lot more about it, you know. And one thing I would say, we need to employ different skills into the arena, you know, because you need some therapy going on, but you need some nutrition going on also. And then you're going to need something to calm them at some times. Do you see what I'm saying? So drugs may be useful for a point, to a point. Do you see what I'm saying? But I don't think it's for one person to take that on holistic, especially if the person's been on drugs for quite some time. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's a touchy situation, you know. I really haven't got the solution to that problem right now.
Yeah, I think you'd have to know a lot more about him. I think you'd have to be Elizabeth. I think you'd have to find out a lot more about. You'd have to know more about his background and his history and whatnot. Okay, well, everybody wants to speak, so I mean, there's a few people who want to make comments, so it's a bit unfair. Really.
Hold on, because we're literally just running out of time. Hold on a second. Shh. Now then, would you agree that there needs to be a part 2? Yeah? I'll ask the question again. Because, listen to me carefully. I've been putting events on for the last, 20, 30 years, probably long time. To me, this is one of the best events I've put on. Just the information is just phenomenal. So I'm saying that there should be a part 2, right? And we invite the same speakers then, invite some other health professionals as well, and start opening up some cancer worms, because this is just phenomenal. But the question is, the big question is, who's going to help to organize it? We all do. Put your hand up. Yeah? Okay. Now then. There's something I've got to do first. I don't want to get no beating. Dawn, can you come to the front, please? Dawn? Now then. All right. Dawn and Joyce, come to the front. Give them a clap, please. Shh. Okay then. From the Speakers Club. Yeah. And Dawn, it's an honor to give you this, because you have a beautiful soul. Joyce, you come here as well, because you're part of the team as well. Now then, let me say this, right? They've been working hard. In fact, they was here early, putting the chairs and the tables. Said, don't do that, man. Let we do it. Right? They was here earlier on. When I first put the place, they want things everything organized, because they're perfectionists. They're very professional, and they don't mess about. Right? They mess about. They see the stick there. I will get it somewhere, you know. But I love these individuals, you know, because their heart's in the right place. In the right place. So please, pick them up. Please. Right? Yeah? And so forth. Okay. Now then. Okay then. Give thanks. Now then. If we had to put evaluation, there's 3 things. A, was we organized? Yes. And there's will be room for more improvement for that. B, was it fun? When you have man like critters, it is fun. But you learn more in a fun environment. But most of all, was you inspired? Was it educational? Did you feel grieved? Yeah? Absolutely. Come and give yourself a clap. Come on. Now then, Lisa, come to the front. This woman, she's my good friend, but she can be very miserable when she's ready. Watch her now. Or that could be some argument. No then. All right then. Lisa was telling me that we haven't quite. The raffle's all right. The raffle.
Yeah. If anybody else wants to buy a last-minute raffle ticket for the Les Brown CD, please feel free.
£1. And also, if you could put a little donation in the box because we have to cover some little small expenses. So whatever you can throw in there, feel free. I don't want to start eating a dustbin later on tonight, you know what I mean? Don't want to embarrass myself. So I'll walk down the road bare feet, you know? So when I laugh after me already, right? You laugh with me or you laugh after me? Well, you see me eat a dustbin already? All right then. Now then, I need to big up. I have to look at this brother called Theo. Theo, I need to big him up. You know that this is gonna live on Facebook and YouTube through the technician engineer Theo. Big up to Theo. Come on, give him a clap. You know? Also, I need to big up all the people involved. Ross Minty. Where's Ross Minty? More step on our move. I went down to the kitchen. Got some food. All right then. Now then, I've got to big up the panel again because these are my bedrooms, right? Melvin Brad, I know for a very long time. Big up to Melvin Brad. Come on, give him a clap. Yeah. Lyndon. Always speak regular on the phone. Late at night we speak, you know. Always planning our next move. I'm a great brethren, Kinsu. Come on, give him a clap again. Right. Now then, hands up here are therapists who are therapists and doctors and so forth. Okay then. Counselor. Okay, can I see you after? Gonna take your names and details, yeah? Because one thing we want to do a networking event, do some workshop in the near future, probably in June, yeah? And also, it's important that you connect with me and Hesketh as well, because we definitely want to see you, because we're doing some work with some member voices, yeah? Okay then. Dermot, come to the, you have a point for Dermot? Free to a point? Put him on the spot. I know you didn't want to do 2 points, but you could do your second point, yeah?
This was mostly about the men, but this is about the women, the beautiful ebony women. A constant reminder of the things you do gives me the incentive to love just you. Collective thoughts, images and views bring me to the fact that I love you for true. What depth of intricate beauty I see, with delightful smiles so radiant to me. My conscious thought of an aura so sweet, a delightful appearance and a body petite, with a million words to express your smile, so healthy, so vibrant, inexhaustible style. Contented to know that we were meant, fascinated by reality, an angel sent, to abide forever my dream's delight, having you beside me night after night. Combined with health, and you're always there, is my day's resolution and my everyday prayer. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, international poet. Okay then, so I'm going to bring this segment to a close now. All the therapists, please come and see me, please. I want to take your details. And also, it's going to live as well. That is Media Net Live, yeah? Media Net Live. See? It's on Facebook and on YouTube. See? Okay then. And also get your raffles and make a donation, please. Right? And make sure you hug somebody who you don't know, yeah? That's very important. The biggest force in life is love. No human being can survive without love. So there will be a part 2, and we are going in more detail. Okay, so family. Oh yes, the raffle. Rock stone. All right then. We have to do the raffle. So Lisa, where the oh, just give us a few seconds. Last minute business. Okay then, Lisa, need to come. And she's gonna come. Number 14. Are you that? Weird. All right, give the brother a clap. We're going to give him a...
Everybody, I have to tell you that this gentleman, all he could say is, me never win nothing in my life. I don't win anything anytime. And now look, well done. Congratulations.
Okay then. Swim there. Come for your CD. Okay then, so please network. There's some stools in the other side there. Please network. And yeah. And make sure you hug somebody who you don't know.